we're back again.
Yay.
It's been like a month.
And we're hungover. I am.
Well, I think we're all hungover.
Yeah.
We did a little work bowling party last night. So
one thing I worked on was a buzz. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
I'm still drunk.
that was pretty fun.
It was fun.
It's always fun, like hanging out. Like I don't go out that much. You go out a lot because you're always like working or doing comedy or like kind of doing your thing. Charlie, I don't know how often you go out. Do you go out quite often?
Nah,
Charlie's
I don't do much.
Out in the streets all the time.
I'm glad the bowling was fun for you, though. I ripped my trousers, my cock was out, and I kept hitting zeros all night because I can't bowl.
Yeah.
Really embarrassing.
It's funny because it's like I feel like every other like white dude there was just naturally inherently good, but they're all Americans, and it really showed your British side, which is like you have no idea how the sport
We played
works.
balls on a
Yeah,
nice
balls.
lawn.
Hilarious.
We're all white.
What is it? What's the game where you isn't it cricket or bocce or
Which
something?
one?
Bocce ball?
What is
No.
it? But yeah.
Did you say bowling?
Yeah.
No, you're talking about the one where you roll the ball and then you got to hit a little white ball?
Yeah.
That's balls. You got to be over 80 to play that.
What's the one of the fucking like? It's like a weird. It looks like a mallet and
cricket?
Cricket.
Croquet. That's the one.
Croquet. I used to
yeah.
play croquet when I was a kid. I think everybody that was like an 80s thing.
That's only because our grandparents had that shit and it was around, and then you just played it, and it wasn't like
That's just fun though.
it was fun, but I just don't think I ever played it right.
I think I'd rather play that than fucking what is it, like the cornhole? Like that's like a fucking thing. Like,
Cornhole
that's-
is so good.
I like cornhole.
cricket's fun because you could make the course different every time. You just put
It's like a weird mini golf with a mallet for some reason.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think people actually played that. I just thought that was something in like 1800 movies. From England. I've never actually, I don't even know. I've
First
seen
date
a
and they're kind of
croquet
flirting
thing.
and shit. Like, ooh,
Take them to croquet on a
Yeah.
first date.
it's like weird because isn't there like several balls and you can kind of like bounce them into one another? Like,
Yeah,
fucking
you could
pool?
like
Yeah.
knock them against like knock the other one out, get yours closer and all that stuff.
Maybe that can be one of our
But-
first sponsors.
Well, I'm telling you this much. I realize this now.
There's, like, we're sponsored by a croquet company.
I want to get sponsored by like Brunswick or any like pool tables or like billiard, like basically anything that's like a bar sport. I want to be sponsored by.
That's a great idea. We
Fuck
should
yeah.
talk about
You guys want to be
darts one day.
sponsored by my company, AdventureDumb? AdventureDumb.com. You just go to my
Nah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Everyone's like, nobody wants that
Mark,
shit.
cut that part out.
Speaking of t-shirts, if you guys want to buy this, it's Christopher Hitchens. I have these for sale for a low price of $12.95. I think they are at AdventureDumb.com. So go check those out. There's all sorts of things. Also have miniature dachshunds.
You did so random. You do.
You have shirts that like
dog shirts.
the shirts you
dogs and
sell are
shit.
the shirts that like they wear in Pulp Fiction when their clothes get all covered in blood. It's like Quentin Tarantino gives
I do
them
have,
yeah.
and this podcast I have, I just made this because I made the new logo. I don't know if you could see there. I took the Conquistador thing off myself and changed a couple things, but you can
Yeah.
buy the t-shirts. I have beer glasses too for us. I'm going to buy those so we can have those when we're
You're
drinking.
gonna sponsor us with those, right?
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
beer to sponsor us. We can put in there. And then I think a sweatshirt or something, like t-shirts and sweatshirts.
Put a
But
little tiny Charlie right here.
Nah, you're good.
yeah, I could draw on
We
it.
could brew our own beer and then start selling that.
We could.
What do you reckon it would be?
Terrible.
Yeah.
We could just buy beer and then tell people we brewed
Yeah.
it and just do that.
It's just Bud
Throw a
Light.
label on-
My brother had
I don't
friends
do
in
that to
college
somebody.
that did that, and that was
My cousin
very
has a brewery.
time consuming.
Shout
Yeah,
out
his
to
cousin.
Jason
Actually,
Rasovich.
that's a good
Yeah.
idea, Jason. If you're
Steel
listening,
Tank Brewing.
yeah,
Yeah.
sponsor us. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool little.
He makes really like good beers, but they're really like full body and shit. And that's like I can only have a couple of those. Like you were drinking IPAs all night last night. I can't hang like that, dude. I had a couple sporadically. Then I like did like instead of drinking a glass of water, I would drink like a light beer. It's like IPA, Miller Lite. Ugh, still no hydration.
That's what I started doing at the end because I had like 4 of those IPAs, those Lagunitas ones.
Yeah.
Those were like 6 point something alcohol. So I was like, okay, I'm like pretty good. That's probably when my bowling score went down pretty drastically. And then I was like, oh, I need to drink something lighter. So I was just drinking Corona. And then I don't know how many of those I had, but yeah, I hadn't eaten since 11 o'clock earlier that day. And that was at 8 o'clock is when it started. And we didn't stop drinking until 11 o'clock because we went to another bar after that. And then I was like, I need to go home. Like, I just need to go home. Like, I ran into some other coworkers. I'm like, just drive me to Ralph's. Just drop me off at Ralph's. Ralph's is a grocery store
That's the
out
move.
here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, grab some like, old sushi that they had and like fucking a bag of chips and like had
you
a
get really
sad
dicey
little...
when you get drunk. Buying like supermarket sushi is like that's a risky move.
I mean,
that's
I'm
like
up a notch. I
guaranteed.
used to do 7-Eleven sushi.
Also
that
true.
used to be when I moved out here. I was like, oh my God, Tony, they have sushi at the
but you were
7-Eleven.
younger,
I was
man.
like,
Your
this
body
is
can handle
insane.
that shit at that age. I don't think either of us, because Eric and I are also like record eating, steak eaters and shit. So we have our names on the plaque at Magic Castle. You work there.
That's right. I remember.
You
Yeah,
should-
I know.
man, just get your contact. Get a picture of that plaque, because I would like to see us on like I think we're 11 and 12 on the fucking plaque. But
Ooh, we could do that. So you could tell that little story, and then that's a good segue into the other.
oh, okay, right. So
hey, look at this.
Years ago,
Yes.
my brother-in-law Mike is the drummer of the band Disturb. Shout out to Mike if you're listening. Also part owner of the brewery. Jason, everything's tying together, right? Look at that.
Sponsorships coming.
His
our way.
label had like the whole band was going out to dinner at the Magic Castle and shit, but like one of the band members couldn't come, so him and his wife had seats. So obviously me and Eric, my hetero life partner, go and sit at this table and shit. And then the fucking server comes over. He's like, yeah, we have 8, 16, 24, 56 ounce steaks. And then we're like, 56. I'm like, Mike, your label's paying for this, right? And Eric and I are like, he's like, yeah. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. And everyone loves a good, food challenge and shit. So they bring these fucking steaks out, dude. And I got mine like cooked like medium or medium rare. It was just way too rare for that much meat.
Yeah.
And when he
the
put it
middle's
down
just
on the fucking
flat
table,
red.
it kind of jiggled like a Jello mold, just like this. I was like, oh boy. And we start just fucking, and they also serve it with like a giant like family style like side of mashed potatoes.
And it was
Eric
like a
and I-
shrimp cocktail and like a side salad. And then
It's a lot of
before
shit.
we went there, we didn't know we were going to this. So we were like on a Subway kick. Like we literally ate Subway like 3 times a day. That was like, we just went there. We just ate Subway all the time. So we had just downed foot-long subs.
We were
and then
also
we're
hungover.
Yeah, we're like, hey,
This
you
is
guys
back when
want to
we
go
drink
to
that
this?
shit called the juice too. So we're hungover. We fucking eat some Subway. Then we go to this fucking restaurant, get this fucking giant steak. The guy that our server's like, yeah, I've been working here for 2 years. Like, I've never sold one of those steaks. Like, we're selling 2 right now, buddy. Like, and then like, they kept periodically checking us, and the maitre d' had to come over and sign off on it and shit. But when I'm hungover, dude, I'm like ravenous. I can't stop eating and shit. So
wait, sign a waiver?
they basically just like say you ate the whole steak,
like
and then you get your name on the plaque and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was still, after I finished the steak, I just kept eating mashed potatoes, even though it wasn't part of the deal. I was just like, couldn't feel this fuck. I was
finish
hungry,
that.
man. And then we went out to Bordner's out in Hollywood. And surprisingly enough, we couldn't get drunk. I couldn't tie a buzz on to save my life. I just kept like drinking. I had this giant sponge of meat in my
Just
stomach.
sweating.
Yeah.
Just sweating and just like...
I don't think I ate the rest of that weekend, though. That was it.
Is the plaque hanging up in the place?
Well, that was where I was going to ask you.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I think they just suckered you in there.
No, it was on the stairs.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Maybe it
I think.
is. Yeah.
I think after I had heard someone else that had gone there and there that worked there, and they said they had since taken that challenge away or that option because it was like nobody ever did
Somebody
it.
died.
Like yeah,
I just like the
too
idea of
dumb.
all these legends lined up on that wall. You've got like famous actors, the superstar magicians, musicians. They're all on there, and then there's just you. The
It wasn't that
steak
many
eaters.
people.
Amateur
It was like
competitive eaters.
it was like we were like 11 and 12 or something.
Yeah.
It was like that's how like not nobody did it because
Since
like
that castle became magic.
like anybody want to get sick while you're watching magic? Like like that's probably not
Constipated for 2 weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a interesting evening. But then to tie back into the music thing. So I don't know how many years later this was, probably like 8 years or some shit. But to kind of bring this all full circle too, I'll do a little backstory. So Tony and I went to this place out here. It's called Cinespace. And we went to go see like someone perform there. And it was, we got invited through a girl that he worked with that actually she's the chef for Dan Balzerian now. Oh. And so, yeah, she's super cool. She used to work at Tender Greens.
Shout out to Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy. She's fucking awesome. And she used to work at Tender Greens, which is like, for people that aren't familiar with it, it's like a kind of cafeteria style, but it's like gourmet kind of like home cooked meal, like chicken, steak, sandwiches, like homemade cookies, and like really, really good stuff. And she was like the head chef there. So we'd get done with work and all of our work buddies would go over there and she'd be like, all right, what do you guys want? Just fucking bring out like plates of food for like free or like, wouldn't charge us anything really. And we just get stuff there. And so one of the days after work, she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see this girl. Like, I can't believe she's playing." And we're like, "Okay." And she's like, "You guys got to go. It's Lady Gaga." And we're like, "Who?"
Never heard of such a person.
Yeah, we're like, like this. They're just a name sounds fucking stupid. So we're like, I don't want to go to this. And then she's like, "Oh, you got to go." And we're like, "All right, whatever." You know, there's a bunch of her girlfriends were gonna go, so we like kind of tagged along, and we go into this place, and it's a small venue. It's only like maybe like 100 people max, 150 people maybe. It's not a really big venue.
Yeah,
and
it's like upstairs at the Roxy on the Roxy. It's like small like that, intimate.
It's a really intimate spot. And so we go there, and we're just like sitting around, whatever. And all of a sudden, Lady Gaga gets carried out by like 6 guys dressed in like some really high fashion thing.
Like this is before she's even famous. So she's
way
doing that before.
Way before. Way
was,
before.
And it was her first show.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know.
Early on. This was again probably like 15 years
Hence there
ago.
wasn't it like, you know, it was only like a small venue, right? And so like she gets carried out with like all these guys, and they have like, I don't know, like little sparklers and shit. It was like over the top, and she's wearing like this latex thing and like dancing, and like we're like, this is not. We're coming from like going to like, you know, Disturbed concerts or like heavy metal stuff. I was in a heavy metal band at the time, so like this is the opposite of the shit we're into, and we're like, this is fucking bullshit. Like we're both like, this is never gonna fucking go anywhere.
This lady's
like,
a little full of herself.
Like fucking, this is horseshit.
I'm Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
she
like my poker. We're like, this is fucking horrible. Like who would listen to this bullshit? And then like it was like maybe fast forward a few months, start hearing that shit on the radio, and I'm like, this is that fucking chick that we heard. And then you see billboards, and it just kept snowballing bigger and bigger. Like, well, I guess we were wrong on that. I guess everybody fucking loves this shit.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So so we ended up going to that, and then where was I fucking going to try to tie this back into? So okay, so then that's the Lady Gaga, our first experience with that, and then many years later, Tony.
I auditioned to be a trophy presenter for the Grammys. I'm too tall.
Wait, how does that? What do you mean?
I don't know. I was going to look nice in a fucking suit and then hand the trophy off and shit.
Tony's always getting himself into some dumb shit. Like, where I'm like, what the fuck? How do you get in on like what? Like when we first moved out here, he got us booked at a book signing for some like horror author.
It was like a cult.
We wore
movie.
like Jason masks and just stood next to the guy signing
like
books.
Living statues of like,
and just stood like this. I'm like, what the fuck are we like? We were in Wisconsin, like living normal lives.
Just get a serving job.
We booked it. Well, again, it was before that because we were still working in an office. We went from construction to this office job to start doing these random fucking side jobs.
Just
like
super random. I'm like, we're like trying not to laugh because we had to be like quiet and shit. And we're like fucking trying to make each other laugh while we're standing there. And
so you couldn't work as a trophy handoff person because you were too tall?
Too tall.
Were you just showing up?
I think I would have been like my shoulder in the frame, and then there's the trophy and shit. So like, and then I think they ended up going with like some. I don't know who they went for the trophy percent. But all I know is they like me, and they're like, well, we have something else you can do. You can be a backup dancer for the Lady Gaga Metallica performance. And I was like, okay, because I can't dance. I got kicked out of a musical.
So don't rush over that. Don't just go over that part of the story.
Oh no.
Wait, how did they just offered you as a backup dancer?
Yeah. So they're like, I don't know how it happened, but it's like, we like you for
like what the
we want to have you part of our Grammys programming and shit. So somehow I go to this like, you know, the rehearsal, which is fucking cool because on that Grammys it was like Gary Clark Jr. I think Adele performed. There's a lot of like really cool performances and shit. I think Logic was on the bill too. There's like a lot of people and then this Lady Gaga and Metallica thing, right? And Metallica's they're okay for me, right? I always thought they're little bitches after that whole Napster thing where I was like, just seeing a grown man cry about stuff, and it's like, dude, chill the fuck out. You got plenty of money, you're doing just fine. Like, it's Army, you stealing from us and shit. So during the rehearsal,
I fucking love Metallica, by the way. We were just talking about the Black
Album.
Album.
We were literally on the car raving about Metallica the whole way.
It's like,
where I was like last time we were at the bowling alley, they played. I don't know if you were there or not yet.
Yeah, it was.
They played Sabbath True, and it's like it's just like dun,
I know, I like that
it's
album.
Just so like,
however,
it's like the Devil soundtrack.
Again,
so
because
good.
Eric, when you work with Metallica like I did, right?
That's that backup dancer.
Yeah. And we're there for rehearsal and shit. And during the rehearsal, the click track wasn't lining up with like the sound guy and shit. And like Lars was like, hey man, fucking he like snaps and
well, he's like the bitch of the group though.
Exactly. But that's the thing. So now so the rehearsal was kind of a little awkward, right? Now it's show day, and there's this other kid, this young like 19-year-old kid that's like in the little sea of like background dancers and shit. And I'm doing my only move I have, like, yeah, just like stupid shit. This kid's going all over crazy, jumping crazy, and fucking like unplugs James Hetfield's microphone and shit. So he has to kind of lean in, you know, and like start singing with Lady Gaga and shit. I'm unaware of this because like it's a sea of people. It's all celebrities. And like, and the last thing I want to do is be on stage under spotlights dancing, and I can't fucking dance. And I think Robin was working that. That's how I ended up getting in this whole fucking gig. But like the people from the booth were like, yeah, you need to get some dancing, you know, fucking classes and shit. And yep. Yeah. After the curtains close, James Hetfield just tosses his guitar at his tech, like almost fucking hits me in the face. He's fucking pissed, just like all mad. It goes down as one of the worst performances on the Grammys.
It's very famous performance.
Famously terrible. You can Google. I'm in all the pictures in a blue and black checkered fucking flannel and shit.
Did you think it was you?
I don't know. I was in that vicinity and shit. I'm sure I probably got like.
Did he ever like look at? Did he give you like a stare? Like he's like, hey, where's my mic? Hey, where's my microphone?
Yeah. No, but it was like again one of those things because like the second that goes out, everyone's like texting me like, dude, are you on the Grammys right now? Yeah, Forrest got my way into that fucking scenario.
You are the Forrest Gump.
I do just kind of happen to walk myself into that kind of shit. Like I don't know how it always happens. So last week. We have a writer strike going on right now, and one of my buddies is like, "You want to come support?" I'm like, "Why not? I have the day off."
Oh yeah, you're telling me that you went to that.
Do this little, you know, march of, you know, supporting my writer friends and shit. Somehow I happen up on the news because I like walk into frame and shit. So like, really? One friend sends enough, yeah. So there's like a fucking like video. My dumbass just walking through like another moment of pop culture and shit. Just
I like riding.
Yeah.
I like to ride.
And that's all I have to say about that. Yeah.
And you, sir, what are your thoughts on the strike? You're like, Duh.
I like riding. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
That's fucking, dude. Yeah, you're always getting.
I wonder what it is that always gets you in. What's what?
Don't read it, Charlie.
Just do it. Wonder what it is that always gets me in those things. I don't know, man.
I'm not saying anything.
One, I think, is I'm fucking just a tall, dumb idiot, and I happen to be like, you know, in frame. Because even if you look at like the actual like the YouTube coverage of like the Grammys thing, I'm just like tall enough that even like though I'm in the background, like when they're singing duet style in front of the microphone, it looks like I'm like in there singing too. Like it's so fucking it's hilariously awkward.
Yeah,
just basically my life.
Tall Dracula.
Yeah.
So does it.
Yeah.
You don't like Metallica's Black Album?
I do like Metallica's Black Album.
That's the best album. That's fucking the shit. I remember we're talking on the way over here. Like, I remember getting that album, being a little fat kid with fucking long hair, and being in my room and listening to the whole album and headbanging the whole album to the point where I gave myself a fucking stiff neck.
Okay.
I just fucking jammed out to that album. It was so fucking good.
It's great. And I know that's the reason why you have like a lot less brain cells because you fucking shook your brain around listening to Metallica and stuff. But one of my other complaints about them is there was that like Paradise Lost documentary series. I don't know if you know about the West Memphis 3. These 3 kids got like falsely accused of murdering 3 other kids down in like in the South somewhere in the early 90s. And they were like basically, this is like the Bible Belt. So this is when like, you know, satanic cults and shit are running amok and there's all this kind of stuff. So they basically get these kids that wore Metallica shirts and they fucking threw them in prison. There was no real proof that they did it, but they just like, people pointed at them like, they're the ones that did it. Look at them. They listen to Metallica and shit.
It wasn't Metallica's fault though.
It wasn't Metallica's fault, but Metallica didn't say shit.
Well, fucking, how the fuck would they know?
Who's Peter Jackson, the fucking director? Neil Young, Eddie Vedder, all these people rallied around to try to get, you know, funding to get them like some good counsel and try to get them like, you know, another trial and shit. Meanwhile, Metallica never says anything, but they have no problem complaining about some kid giving away their music for free and shit. That's why I don't like Metallica.
Okay, I mean,
you have an actual platform and you could actually fucking save some kids and shit instead of like just being like, I don't care, I lost some money on some fucking streaming. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
I mean, I get like the whole Napster thing and like them being little bitches about it and stuff, but also at the same time, it's like you're making music and you should be, you know, not just a big band, but like any band, like you're making art and it shouldn't just be for free. Like you should have to pay for it.
I agree. Look, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying as far as like,
yeah, I agree with Lars or whatever his name is a fucking little bitch and he should have just like kind of shut up about it. But like at the same time for that murder trial with those kids, they probably were like, well, maybe like we don't know if they did or didn't. Yeah, so if like it's probably like, just probably stay out of it. And you know, I don't know. I think there's other variables that could have happened with that they're probably like, all right, let's just fucking stay away. We don't really know the end result of this.
Do you know when they found out that they were innocent, if they said anything then? That'd be more, because I get it if they have no idea. Like if it's like, well, they might have done it, and well,
they had like one of their songs was like this on the soundtrack for the show. It was like a 3-part documentary series, and I think they had like one. I think is like the opening is like the track that's on there. So like they got paid for that, but they still didn't want to be vocal about it or something. I don't know. I just thought at some point in time they would have like tried to help these kids out, because like one of the dudes was like a Popcorn Express candidate and shit, and like he was like got talked into confessing to a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that type of shit. And it's just like, I don't know.
They do that. They do it sometimes when they just want to find someone so the public's happy that they found the person. That's that. I mean, I don't know if they still do it now.
Ended
but
up being the fucking
in the past a lot.
stepdad killed the kids and shit because he was like trying to take a nap or something like that. Some crazy ass shit. Just fucking like murdered 3 kids, threw them in the woods, and then some like animals ate them. So the bite marks in the kids, they thought it was a satanic ritual and shit. It's a really fucking intriguing documentary series if you like fucking true crime shit.
Speaking of killing people, did you guys see John Wick 4?
No, not you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Just
sick?
recently?
Yeah, I watched it the other day.
It's just the whole thing's just fighting, right? That's
Should
what
watch
I've heard.
that.
The whole thing's just him killing people. Like, and it's kind of weird because they do use like their suits are bulletproof, so they'll just like hold up their like jacket.
It's hilarious.
And it'll be like pew, 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 pew,
Just
and,
a
like, not
regular
kill him.
tuxedo that's
Like-
bulletproof.
Yeah, so they'll be like right up to some guy and like shooting him in his head, but he'll have like his little coat jacket over and like pew, pew, pew,
God, imagine
like,
living with
that's
that
hilarious.
anxiety.
Yeah.
You got to go to the ball, but your tuxedo needs to be bulletproof just in case.
Yeah, I mean it's still a good movie. It's still a lot of fun and like.
Oh, I like
it's
it when they just.
action-packed
I
and-
hate it when they do those complicated stories and everything's linked in. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. First of all, this doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And just give me the goods. Like that's why I love Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Because I know there is a story to it. I'm not watching it for the story. I'm going to IMAX to watch
Yeah.
someone jump out of a plane on a motorcycle or whatever crazy things on a camel.
I like Mission Impossible. I can't get into the Fast and the Furious movies. That's just like
No, those are trash.
Driving
always
through
like-
buildings in a car.
it does exactly. It's like, all right, well, if we're gonna go to the 10th floor, we might as well drive this
Yeah,
car
'cause
up the
someone
elevator. It's
stole
like, what the fuck is this? What are we doing here?
Someone
There's
stole
only
the
one way to
Snickers.
go grocery shopping. Drive this Dodge Viper through a grocery store. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
And like now they're like I haven't watched them in so long, but like you see the commercials and they're just like they're like driving on water
They're
now and like going to
driving
the
cars
moon
in
and
space
like
and shit. Yeah, exactly.
You might as well just make them all fucking superheroes.
Yeah.
Like give them all superpowers. Like they have a laser eyes and fucking can fly and like just because now it's just like so fucking ridiculous. It's like
Have they
what
driven
are we
cars
doing?
in space yet?
I think they do in this new one. I think they like
Probably
drives
Tell
a
you
car off a space shuttle, then like jumps out of it right at the
Yeah.
right time to hang onto a wing, and then comes back in. And like it's all
You know
it's
what? Though?
trash.
That sounds so terrible that it actually could be cool. I kind of want to see
Sharknado
that.
terrible.
I want to see someone driving in space. Fucking Ford Focus, whatever it is they're using.
Yeah.
too fast, too.
You know what's funny?
furious
'Cause,
in
like,
space.
Yeah, do it.
yeah, those movies are just fucking.
I know
absolute
this is a
trash.
hot button thing to say, but not a big fan of Paul Walker. And R.I.P. I know.
Whoa.
You're gonna learn a lot about me, boys. I don't like Metallica or Paul Walker.
All right, tell us why don't you like
Because
Paul
in
Walker,
that first
Tony?
Fast and the Furious
What'd he
movie,
do?
when he pulls up and they're just like,
Wait a minute. So it's something he didn't do. It's something someone wrote.
no, he's just a shitty actor.
Okay.
And everyone's just like, oh, what a tragic loss. Like, really though? I mean, it's not like Heath Ledger, tragic loss, good actor.
Great
he also made
actor.
some shit movies, a lot of like,
Yeah,
teen
but he's
movies and
still
stuff.
good in the shit movies.
He's great in a lot of great movies. But Paul Walker, like, was it Joyride? That was the only good movie he was in with Steve Zahn.
I think the tragedy is that he died young. Now, like his acting
nice
was
Tony
guy.
doesn't care
subpar.
about that.
Nice guy. It was just like,
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that
Fuck
guy.
his shitty movies. Like, yeah, I mean, and who knows? Maybe he could have been like turned into a better actor. He just didn't have time to, become a better actor.
that's his catalog right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
look. Right
not
there.
really.
lot of-
Oh, She's All That. He was in She's All That. I like that one.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
She's all that. Varsity Blues. That's right. Varsity Blues. That was like that was a.
Yeah, Joyride right there. That's like the.
I don't want your life, Dad. That's what I remember
Yeah.
having that movie. Was it? Yeah, a lot
He's
of
actually
rides,
really
a lot of cars.
Hit home with you.
A lot of. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want your life.
Yeah. There's nothing better than the original fucking Jack Smith or fucking John Wick. John Wick.
Well, you know
Jack
why?
Smith.
Because John Wick, the coolest thing about John Wick is one, dope ass cars, right? And it's like every movie is like this guy's got a set of skills because Jack Reacher came out before John Wick. Did you ever see that Tom Cruise movie?
That's a fucking great movie.
I did see that one.
But the funny thing about that is it's more of a real, element where like the John Wick series has like the Continental and these weird gold coins that don't explain, which I don't really think they need to, but they're just kind of like some shit that like it's obviously in some little fantasy land and shit. But Jack Reacher, he's just a real ass dude. You don't want to cross Jack Reacher. And there's a part that when that guy touches his shoulder, I'm like, oh, why are you touching Jack Reacher's shoulder? You know what you're doing, man? You're gonna get your ass kicked.
Do you think there's like actual like people that exist like that are like just like super super capable of
Eric,
just
I'm
fucking
right here.
murdering?
What are you talking about? Fucking like, give me a reason.
No, he is capable of murder.
I thought about that the first time I saw John Wick. Siri, no one's talking to you.
You know what I mean? Like somebody that like is like those people, but like that could go into like a UFC cage and just fucking annihilate someone, but like do it like really quick. But like they're not known because they're like a government secret person, or
Absolutely.
like you think there are like someone that
but they
just
don't
so
look. They don't look what you think they look like. They'll be a balding guy, probably a little overweight, but he's got that just death touch. Just
yeah.
Do you think there's someone that's like so dominant that could just like that is like at another level of like martial arts and like combat and all that stuff that can do all that stuff?
Me,
I think there's. Olive oil over here is gonna fucking
rage somebody out. A skinny man with rage.
Wait, so
I got reach.
You're asking if you think there's someone who's just like above any black belt secretly?
Like
just every single.
Well, that's
skill.
like what Jack Reacher and John Wick,
Green Berets, Navy SEALs, those people.
But Eric's talking about even above that.
I don't know if those. I don't know if those guys would go like if they put them in a UFC cage, like they would probably get their asses kicked. I would think.
I don't think so, dude.
I don't think there's this guy
because Navy SEALs isn't like. I mean, it's combat, but it's like I don't know.
Maybe.
Well,
I'll tell you this thing: those guys aren't trying to like they will murder you. That's right? Like, they'll fucking like put a thumb through an eyeball, like fucking
it's different.
Karate chop your throat
like
and your Adam's apple. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
fucking spike your nose.
Then again,
through your brain.
jujitsu's like killing. It's like choking
it is, but
you
it's
out.
so and I respect it. I don't want to fight anyone that's good at that, but it's all
I don't want to
it's
fight
all a
anybody
referee around.
Look, guys, I took judo in second grade.
Here we go again. For sake.
I watched the karate
if you
tape.
follow the moves that I'm leading you to, I could throw you over my shoulder real easily.
What was that move again?
I just kind of come. You got to come around my side, and I put
like,
my hip out, and then
slapping,
roll over the mat.
Action.
Yeah, fall over the mat.
I don't know. That's they're out there now. Especially now, like with all the UFC stuff and people like getting into that stuff. Man, I would never want to fight anybody ever because you never know like what somebody knows how to do.
I'll tell you something else.
Shit
fighting
like
this fucking
super fucking crazy. Like you see anybody with that cauliflower, you're like, oh no, I'm good. Hey,
that's where you got all big hands. Anyone with big hands or cauliflower ears, don't even do it. Yeah. I don't even want to get in bar fights anymore. Just you never know.
We're too old for that shit. That's the main thing.
Never wanted to get in a bar fight.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to get in a fight in my whole life. I did. The only time I got in a fight was in 7th grade. I was sticking up for a kid that had Down syndrome because these other kids were making fun of him, and I fucking was like, "Hey, motherfuckers!" I'm like, "Don't fucking do that." And they were like in this little clique. And they fucking followed me to my locker, and I was a new guy too at the time in school. And they pushed me to my locker, and then me and this kid started swinging at each other. And then we got sent down to the principal's office. And then my aunt ended up she was the gym teacher at the school at the time. And so I'm like, oh fuck, I just started at the school and I'm getting fights and like whatever. And then turns out later, like a few months later, we were both in like detention or some shit for doing something, and that same kid that I got in a fight with was in there, and we ended up like talking, and he was like, I think I gained his respect because I kind of stood up, to him.
That's the difference also between
guys and girls. Me
after
that,
guys could be friends after the fight. Girls, that person could be murdered and they'll be happy. Well, I've been in fights with so many
they'll like pull
guys.
hair out and stuff. Like they'll do some like
but the hate lingers afterwards with guys. I've been in fights when I was in like school and in my early 20s, and I'm friends with some of them now. It's like you punch them, like, I was wrong. I deserve that. You want to hang out? It's a fair point. I swear, a punch helps.
It does. That's why there's certain.
It gets some sense into you.
You can tell Donald Trump's never got punched in the face.
No, if he got punched,
ass, like,
he would change.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
he needs a good ass kicking every once in a while. Well, but I don't need any more.
He's gonna get a couple in prison when he's there. He's fucking that guy's. It's not looking so hot.
You think he's going to prison?
Yeah, I think so. I really do.
Nah.
Yeah, I honestly do. I think we'll get 5 years. Like, even though, like, I know I think one of the last podcasts we're talking about is, oh, he's going to get 400 years and all this stuff. I was recently watching like a legal breakdown of like what charges. It depends on like if you have prior charges or prior like convictions and stuff, your rate of years goes up. Like, it's like on a point-based system. So depending on like how much of a criminal you are, things get like charged up. So basically everything said and done, he'd be getting like it's like 35 years or something like that. And then with everything after that, like he'd probably get like 10 or 15. But even then, like that would be 1 year would be like enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like just him going to jail for a year, I think would like,
oh yeah,
he would just be,
I just hope they don't put him in some like, you know, special housing and stuff. They're not going to keep him with the regular general mass. You know what I mean?
Oh, no,
well, they would
be a murder would happen.
Well, they have to have the Secret Service has to, because like you're obligated to have like Secret Service for the rest of your life if you were president, and so he would basically like have someone like they would do shifts. Like we got to watch him in his prison cell and like swap. I want to
see the
or be under the
mugshots of
custody
him.
of the actual like incarceration place
when he doesn't have like hair dye and like the orange, you know, makeup and shit, and just kind of like a regular old fucking Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
What would he look like? I can't
I look
even
like
imagine
a woman, like an old woman.
That would be interesting to see.
His little fucking.
That's always the funny thing when you see people that go to prison, what they look like without all the fucking hair, makeup, and shit.
Some of them are good looking, then they get modeling contracts afterwards. There was that one guy. Remember, he was just breaking into cars and doing drug deals and God knows what else. And then Gucci or whoever it was saw him in the mugshots and they literally offered him all the contracts. He got out after they actually, I believe they helped him get out. Yeah, because they paid for all these great lawyers and everything. Then they gave him a modeling contract. Fucking,
but didn't he fuck that up though?
He's. What do you mean fuck it up?
I thought he like lost his contract or something. Or
probably was like
maybe I don't know. I just know he made a shit ton of money.
Yeah. That's just funny how vain we are as a society where it's just like, who cares if he's a felon? Let's just get him. Let's have him be the face of our company.
And that's Instagram now. You think of all the assholes that get like 1 million likes because their picture's sexy.
Yeah.
Fucking.
That's respected these days.
Yeah. Black Mirror, baby.
Yeah, I watched the last the first 2 episodes of the recent season.
Black Mirror.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. Behind on that. I watched Nope.
Oh yeah,
Nope. Yeah, the alien one.
That's the UFO one, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's good. I like that. That was
like
a
movie.
But it was like it's a long movie, man.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's like a
if for being like thriller, almost 2.5 hours long, I feel like it ended without any closure. I'm like, where can I see what you captured on?
That's
film?
kind of Jordan Peele's movies, though. If you go into it knowing you're probably not going to get many answers at the end, you can really enjoy that. It's a creepy movie. Yeah, it's an alien one where it actually gets scary at times.
Yeah.
I love those.
I like his movies. I think they're really good. They're like a fun. He's like a better version of who's the guy, the I See Dead People guy, that director.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, because he kind of like had that one, and then the rest of his movies were kind of like too.
He had a couple of good ones. He had
artsy and
Sixth Sense. He had The Village. What else? Signs I thought was decent.
Or Unbreakable.
Unbreakable
was pretty cool.
The subsequent ones after that were like all right, but the initial Unbreakable was dope. Then he did the one with like who's the British guy that had all the personalities?
Oh yeah, what is that called? No, not Splice. It's called Glass.
Yeah, McAvoy.
Something. No, the new one
Glass
is Glass.
was the third one, but I was like
he was like the Split. Yes, the Split personality guy.
Oh, there's a creepy scene in that. You know when he gets into the car. Have you seen it? As Anya Taylor-Joy's in the front seat, and I think like the younger sister's in the back, and it's just because he's got a split personality. He gets into the car like he's the dad or something, and then like he changes personality again into like the criminal guy, and they just sat there petrified. I think even that he kills one of the kids. I think in that,
dude. That's the thing.
So
is like
creepy.
That movie, as far as an acting role, he's playing like 9 different roles.
Oh, I'm so glad he did that. He's a good actor. He's obviously been Mr. X-Men, which he's done a good job in, but he's just been Mr. X-Men for a while. And then it was like, oh, he's got the chops. That's easy.
Yeah, that was cool.
As far as an actor goes, going back to acting, are there any roles that you're like, I would not want to do that? Like, can you sing and dance? Would you do a musical? Was that something that...
I mean, if I had time to learn, I've had to sing in a musical before.
Yeah, you've done
it was
like,
the worst.
Like plays and stuff, right?
I remember I had to do... Have you ever seen the musical Once?
No.
It's an Irish musical. I even forget what it's about, really. But
We're straight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. But the guy who plays
I
the
love
lead,
musicals so much. I'm getting the Irish ones.
it's like it's the musical where you have to be an
Super
amazing
obscure.
singer. He's seen it, but basically, everyone who ever done it is an amazing singer. And I decided for this thing, I can do this. Let's give this a go. And I remember we did an opening number. I forget what it was. Went okay, but it was a group thing. And then I just blew my voice because I've never sung before, had any training. So I just went up with a guitar. The whole audience is quiet. There's someone behind me, like some homeless person in there. That's how it is in the play.
Yeah.
And I start singing. I'm like,
No.
and I could just see everyone going, trying to like encourage me, you know?
How many people do you think were there?
A couple hundred probably.
Oh, great.
What's the largest?
But I knew instantly, like, this
Yeah.
is terrible.
Yeah,
this
it's the
is
last show I'm doing.
so bad.
What's the largest group of like people you've performed in front of?
Nothing that crazy. Maybe 400. Because the thing is, there's like
That's-
theater
that's a
spaces.
lot of
No, it's a
people.
lot, but that's everyone crammed in. It's not fire safety at all. But then it's you play, that's maximum, and then it just goes up to like 3,000. You know, these giant theaters.
Oh wow,
Yeah, no thanks.
I never got that.
seven people was my biggest. crowd.
7. I've done it in front of 7 before. That's when
Yeah.
you question everything.
Yeah.
Have you done that with music?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've done like just shows where it's just
That's when you know
Tony.
if you've really got it. If you
Tony
can
in
get
the
up there.
audience.
I'm so proud of you.
he's all
Yeah.
"Boo."
And when you're up there and there's 5 people in the
Get off the
audience.
stage, loser.
You fucking suck.
Hang it up. It ain't happening.
Oh yeah, done all like the small shows.
It's like that with stand up as well, though. That's when you know if you really want to do it. When there's 4 people in the audience and you're just doing your
That's when you
set
really
like
don't
it's-
want to do it.
Yeah.
You're like, why am I even here? But it's it's all part of the process, man.
I kind of enjoyed like playing in front of like really small crowds, or like if there was only like say like a half a dozen people in the crowd. I always took it as like a challenge to kind of like, okay, like let me see if I can at least get these 6 people to like enjoy what I'm doing, you know? And then
I did stand up in front of one person once. When I was
You in the mirror?
practicing
Yeah.
for the set. No, well, yeah. No, it was, what was it called? Hollywood comedy?
Okay.
But I didn't realize it was the Super Bowl that day.
That's hilarious.
So I go and it's the guy who sent
It's
up.
just-
I forget. I think his name's Sean. Just in case
I'm
he
ready
watched
for you
this.
to do your
But,
set.
but it was just him at the back going, okay, Charlie, you've got 5 minutes. Do you want to do 10? I was like, nah, I don't have 10 minutes. And I just went up there and did it for him. It was the weirdest thing. And it's just
Yeah.
like a sea of nothing. And then just him at the back on his laptop, trying to shut the place down.
That's like
That's the worst.
What's that fucking place over above Sunset that closed down? That guy used to own it. It was like an apartment. What the hell's his name? He had a big picture of himself at the
Marty's. Yeah.
Marty's. That was a
Yeah.
fucking weird place, man. It was like a hole in the wall, like open mic comedy place, but
Uh-huh.
like,
They had like 3 or 4 different rooms.
but it was
And
like,
then some people actually lived there too. It was like but there's like a lot of comics that went there that like were
yeah, there were
bigger
like
comics and shit. Like
huge,
the Wayne's family would come there and
Yeah,
stuff like
like-
that. But
Right.
but it
the
was
guy
like,
that ran it was this creepy bald dude with a goatee who'd always say really fucking sexual jokes and shit. Like he would like run any woman out of there scared. He was like
yeah,
Cocaine everywhere, I'm sure.
every
as well.
joke was about like rape or just like child molestation and shit. It was very
yeah, it was
fucking
really,
weird.
really a
That's
weird
where I cut my
guy.
teeth right there. Yeah, that's what.
And the whole place was not like oh, it's got a few comedy rooms. No, it was like looked like an abandoned apartment with like lawn furniture that was broken and like pissed on, and like it was like just fucking gross.
That's
and like
probably exactly what
like
it
a
was. He needed
single
to make rent.
like a single light bulb like hanging in the room and like super creepy.
Yeah.
And then he had a mural of himself like all
Yeah.
red, like blood red,
Yeah.
like of his
The
face.
creepiest like cartoon.
Yeah, it
mural
was
of
like
himself.
so fucking weird. But like,
Also, that was the place where, because that was right when I first started doing stand up, it was right down the block from our apartment.
Yeah.
And our buddy, Eric, was making these edibles, and somehow he didn't hear him say those were edibles, and he ate like fucking 5 of them. And he was like,
These
Eric
cookies
said
are
not to
great.
eat 'em.
I'm like, don't,
So
what you
he
eat?
was just being a dick, like, oh, no, eat them. I'm gonna eat fucking like as many as I can. He ate like fucking, I don't know, like a half a dozen or some shit.
Yeah.
So we go down and do this open mic. And while he's on stage, it just starts hitting him. He's like, like starts making like 0 sense. And then he gets out and he's like fucking laying in a planter's box, like throwing up and shit. Like, he was a fucking bad look, dude. I've never seen someone who doesn't even smoke weed.
Uh-huh.
He was just like a little whiskey drinking alcoholic and shit.
And they were fucking like strong ass
They were
cookies.
very
Like people
strong.
that like ate edibles and smoked weed and stuff, they were like, holy fuck, like these are really strong. I remember giving a guy I worked with, him and his wife, they're like, oh, we're gonna fly back to Austin, like, you know, can I have some of your cookies? And I'm like, yeah. So made them two. They were like two inside out cookies or something. They're basically like an oatmeal raisin cookie with like a cheesecake frosting in the inside. So they're fucking big. They're like a big cookie, like a big Oreo, you know, like two tops and then big filling. And we're just packed with a bunch of fucking like weed butter. Like I used to make
Tastes
all the
really
stuff.
good.
Yeah, they're delicious, but you couldn't taste any of the weed in them. But when you'd eat them, like I remember him telling me, he's like, dude, we took those before the flight and we were like, fucking we were fucked up, like super fucked up. And then this guy that Tony's talking about, like I just made a batch, you know, my apartment smells nice, and he's like, well, what do you guys got in the fridge, you know? And he's fucking pulling out cookies and fucking I'm getting ready to you know go out, and then he's, you know, left to his own devices in the kitchen and fucking got a mouthful of cookies. I'm like, dude, you just eat like those cookies? He's like, yeah, and fucking had like 2 cheeks full. I don't, you know, he had like at least 3 cookies and they're fucking huge. I'm like, good luck, man, like you're fucked. Like, you're like,
do you reckon weed's putting cocaine out of business?
Absolutely not.
No, I know they're completely different drugs.
I read
Obviously,
some stat that more people are doing cocaine now than ever. And I'm like, with fentanyl, it's like, how
really?
fucking, yes,
that's
dude.
fucking
People are
crazy.
Stupid, yeah.
I mean,
I think I get surprised when I actually see someone do it now. I thought like since weed's there and legal, it's kind of like, well, we can actually get like a fix that puts us in a better mood without having to like go underground and find someone under a bridge.
I think they
Where
like
did you
that
find your local cocaine dealer?
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Cocaine's a weird thing because people that do that shit, there's always like that, like, hey, you want to do coke?
Yeah, it's like
the second you say no, they're like, they'll never talk to you about it again.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you're in that, like, hey, it's a fucking, you want to party? All that kind of shit. There's
That's
like that
so
cool.
true. They
it's-
just
it's-
ask you, and then it's
Yeah.
like it didn't happen.
I'm
like-
definitely surprised at how many people do that shit still. And then like the more like you see it, you're like, geez, you like people that you never assume that do it, and you're like, oh yeah, we do this shit all the time. I'm like,
The
what?
worst is the people that did I tell you about that time when I went to my a friend's birthday? This is probably, I don't know, a few months ago now, and I accidentally called someone by their wrong pronoun.
Oh, no.
Or, you know, she, but not she.
They?
Anyway, yes.
They?
And anyway, so the friends, they were drunk at the time. They started having a go at me. And I was like, I didn't mean to. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that person didn't mind. That's another thing. The person didn't actually mind, you know, and I changed it. But they were drunk and it just kept going. It's almost like they wanted to fight me. They were just going and going. And then later on that night, they were all going and doing cocaine. And I remember getting kind of pissed off about that and the hypocrisy. It's like, you're having a go at me about something that I made an honest mistake and I changed.
Right.
Yeah, you're going and doing something that people have to get across the border with, shove it up their ass or whatever. They're getting beheaded and executed. And you're going there just so you can have like a ramped up dance to staying alive at 300 beats per minute or whatever it is you do on coke, you know, to have that little white powder at Avalon nightclub or whatever. Oh my God, it just drove me fucking crazy. Like, they're so much worse than me.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't mind it when people do cocaine. That's fine. Do your thing. Just like when you're then having a go at someone else who's making error, you know, lapse in judgment or whatever,
like,
and then you're doing that thing where everyone's getting executed, thousands a year executed for that, and you just can do karaoke a little faster than usual, you know, fuck off,
and
you
then
cunts.
it's like the drug itself is like so sketch, like that if there's any fentanyl in it, like you can die, like just so like one try of it and you get a bum batch, you're fucking dead. Like, why would anybody risk that? Like, like even with all the pills and shit, like ecstasy and any of those like pharmaceutical made, not natural kind of fucking drugs, like you're like taking a super big risk like every time they do that. And I know a few people that do that shit all the time. I'm like, dude, you're gonna fucking like it's just a matter of time that you just get a bad batch of that shit and you're fucked. Like, you're not even gonna know. You're gonna be like, before, you know, by the time you realize, you're like, you know, you're gonna be fucking.
It's true. I mean, we've all done it, right?
I've never done coke.
Never done coke.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Yeah, we're from Wisconsin.
It's fun.
weed
It's just, remember, you're not a
mushrooms.
saint if you are doing it. That's what I say. Like, you know.
Yeah.
No,
You
I've
should
noticed that.
just-
Here's the thing: is this? I was actually out with a chick recently, and then I was like kind of regulating how many beers I had. And she's like, hey, I got Coke. I'm like, am I that guy now? I'm gonna be 40 years old. I'm gonna start doing Coke. Like, fuck no, dude. And I like had to have that honest like talk to myself because like shrooms is something I started doing a couple years ago, and I'm like excited to do another like proper dose and try to see some fucking geometric shapes and like have that whole out of body experience and stuff. But I don't have any desire to doing like Molly or ecstasy and that kind of shit, or like even acid, but definitely not Coke.
Ecstasy's pretty fun too. I haven't done it, but it's fun. I have done it. Yeah.
Ecstasy?
But this is, I saw Paul McCartney on Ecstasy.
You saw what?
Paul McCartney.
Oh.
Great light show.
How was he when he was on Ecstasy? Was he on it or you on it?
I can't remember much about that day. But
yeah.
That's why I also think like now like all these experimental drugs and legal things and safe ways of doing it, that's why I think it might actually start sending that stuff out of business. I swear Coke's gone out of business.
Coke has gotten busier since fentanyl and shit. And there's like, there's a bunch
drug
of people.
mafia guys are geniuses then. So how are they doing that if you got all these other
I'm
options?
telling you, there's just that risk that people like to have, that like the tabooness. It's the same thing when I was a kid smoking cigarettes and shit like in school.
It's the tabooness.
That was like a cool thing. It's so taboo. Like, hey man, I got cigarettes, and like when I have a cigarette after school and shit. There was like and some of those friends from childhood of like, dude, okay, so I went to school with a kid. Actually, you did too, Eric. That like used to steal bikes, and I bought a bike off of him when I moved from like my hometown to a secondary city and shit. See, Cocaine Productions at the highest.
I couldn't have been more wrong.
And
definitely that's proven too.
Don't take any gambling ideas from fucking old Charlie over here. But like this kid, like I bought a bike off this kid in 5th grade, right? And then I was riding it home one day, and this kid's like, "That's my fucking bike." And I was like, "Did I buy a stolen bike?" Turns out this kid had a little fucking racket. So me and another buddy were talking about him. And he's like, he Googled him, and it was when I was 35, so this is like 5 years ago. This dude got busted for like stealing like thousands of dollars of the bikes. But like, I thought it was kind of funny because he knew what he wanted to do back in elementary school. He was like, I'm good at this. I'm a good bike stealer. And this fucking like, he went down that path. Not the right path, but he's a hell of a bike stealer. Apparently, he was doing it for like 20 years and got busted. And now he's doing time.
Interesting.
It's
it's
the rush.
I don't want to say his name on the podcast
Yeah.
and shit, but like he was the kind of kid though back in the day. So like he was one of my friends that I knew smoked cigarettes. So like in 5th grade we'd smoke cigarettes together, and then when I like started drinking in 6th grade and shit, like he'd like we'd get beers together.
As you do.
Yeah.
Just not casually playing it off like it's normal again.
Yeah, but I had older siblings and shit. So like when I started drinking at 12, they were like,
it's still not
14 and 16, so it's
still very young.
Tears down. Yeah.
I mean, you guys drink early in the UK though, right?
Yeah, we do. But like the legal age is we drink for different reasons
Is it
in the
18
UK though.
in the UK?
What do you mean you drink for different reasons?
It's social. It's purely social. It's not to get fucked up. You get fucked up.
Well, I think
but out here, I know there's a lot of people like, let's go get fucked up tonight.
Yeah.
No one's really saying that in England. It's like,
dude,
we're going to go have a banter. We're in the pub. Of course, we're going to get fucked up, but that's not the goal. It's just how it is.
Is it 18 over there?
18. You can have wine, I believe, with a roast dinner or something in a pub at 16. Okay. But maybe a parent has to be there. I'm not sure. But they're just trying to lower it and lower it and lower it. The legal sex age is 16. That's an interesting place, a road place. Not saying you should do that. I'm just saying it's
like that's like down south. I think that
it's so weird though.
Like they have weird ages like that.
Well, over here the ages are like a very backward though, isn't it? It's like you can drive a car at what? Start driving at
15 is your temps. 16 you can get your license.
15 and a half.
But then you can drink at 21, but you can do porn at 18.
Yeah.
See, in England, it makes sense.
You can go die for this country at 18, but you can't have a beer.
Yeah. Mental.
Yeah.
No, England, you can only drive at 17.
You can have a rifle, but you can't have a pistol until you're 21. So when you start drinking, you can have a pistol then. You can have a concealable gun. Like, we're just fucking so random. Hey, now that you're old enough to go to the bar, why don't you take a gun that you could hide in your fucking crotch? Like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's just whatever way is going to make them the most money, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, like, they should reduce the drinking age to 18. Like...
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I kind of feel like it makes people want to do it. That's more.
Yeah. I don't
Get
know.
out of your system, man.
It's
I
the
feel
rush
like a lot of the shit,
we're
like,
talking about.
The thing too, also, like, when shit goes on your permanent record. So like a lot of the trouble I got into as a kid with my older brother, like once I turned 18 and it was on your permanent record, I was like, all right, I'm not trying to have a fucking record and stuff like that. So I stopped doing like, as much dumb shit as we do. That was like, nothing like wasn't stealing cars and shit. But we'd like steal cigarettes from this grocery store and sell them and all that kind of booze. I had like a fucking like a a good store right
I
out
should
of
do
my
it again.
trunk in high school and shit.
You know, like
But-
everybody does.
Yeah.
You just-
Yeah, you guys make some extra cash.
Still cigarettes out of the back of your car. It's fucking-
I feel like
Yeah.
we solved that mystery, though. You're right. It is the rush and the taboo of all that
Absolutely.
stuff, and that's like why everyone's
When I
wants to
was
get
a
fucked up over
freshman
here
in
because you
high
got to wait till
school-
21. Don't have to do that in the UK. 18 or 16. So there's no like taboo or risque thing about it. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're all just drinking. That's what you do.
Yeah, so when, like my freshman year of high school, we had open campus and shit. So I walked, off campus, went into a neighborhood, and I was smoking a cigarette, and I got a, underage smoking ticket, and they mailed it to your
Really?
house. So I had to intercept it.
You
in
had
the
an
mail.
underage smoking ticket?
Yeah.
That's fucking.
It's only $25, and it was like they sent it in an envelope that I could just send back to the police department and shit. So I didn't have to like have my parents never knew about it and stuff, which I thought was kind of odd, right?
That's crazy. I didn't even know you could.
yeah,
do
I got
that.
it with John Canny. Yeah, shout out to John Canny.
Yeah.
But he was like 16 at the time. He was a couple years older than us. But yeah, it was one of those things though. Again, there's the taboo. It's like, did I need a cigarette at lunch? Fuck no. But it was like, hey, all the cool kids are walking off campus to smoke a cigarette. I'll come back with an accelerated heart rate and clammy hands and shit. When I go back the next hour, smelling like smoke.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I used to smoke like 2 cigarettes on the way to school. I would drive around the block to finish another one. So I'd go to class just like reeking of fucking cigarettes.
That's fucking
Yeah.
nuts, man.
It's like something from a movie.
Yeah.
Like a terribly white trash movie.
It's just the way you talk about it, like it's so normal as well.
Well, I mean, it was for like, because I got Eric smoking cigarettes when we first moved out here for like a year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I tried. I tried my hardest. Like, it was not good at
Wasn't
it.
that good at it, man. You quit. You're a real quitter.
Parliament menthol lights. We'd have a smoke before work, on the drive to work. Then we get
Lunch break.
lunch break. And then when we drive home. And then when we get home. And then I was like, I don't know. I forget, like one day I was just like, I just fucking just feel like shit. And like, this is fucking gross. And like, I just can't do this
Yeah, I would
anymore.
never smoke again. I quit like 10 years ago now, but like it took me a long time to quit. I knew I wanted to quit, and I'd try like, when I turned like 25, I was like, oh, I'm getting a little old, because I was smoking from 11 to 30. So I smoked for 19 years.
Where would you go to when you were drinking, when you were doing underage drinking? Where would you go?
At friend's house.
Was it friends' house? Did
Yeah.
you ever do it in public?
I'd get drunk, go in public, absolutely.
Yeah, we would do it in
Dude,
public.
we used to fucking get like a
Fake IDs.
1.75.
Did you ever have fake ID?
I never had a fake ID because we always had someone to buy us the alcohol.
Oh.
Yeah,
We had a
Yeah.
guy named Jerry.
yeah.
Oh, we had my friend's older brother,
yeah.
and he would guess. Actually, I saw a ghost once when we were drinking underage. Here's a story for you.
Yeah, let's hear. I'd love to hear about it.
So where I'm from, I think it's probably everywhere in England, but specifically where I'm from, there's just castles everywhere. It's right on the south coast, so it was like a military town. So
Yeah.
it goes way back to even Roman times. So there's this castle on the beach called Southsea Castle, and you can just go up there, right? It's not cautioned off to anyone. So like, we got loads of bottles of vodka. Let's go up into the castle. It's like 1 a.m. We walk up to it. No one's around. We're going up this spiral staircase. This old stones. That's it right there. So I'm walking up to that top bit. Me and my friends, 4 of us. No, 4 of us. 2 girls, because we're cool. And we're walking up the spiral staircase inside of that kind of like tall block bit. And these 2 people, right, in Tudor costumes, we saw a candle coming around the corner first.
Yeah.
They pass us. They don't make eye contact with us. They don't move. They just keep like walking really, really strange. And this is like 1 a.m. And there's also this like iron gate inside there that you can't go down, that goes down into the castle. And so they pass us. We're like, this is weird. We just kind of like froze against the wall, And then we follow them as they like pass us. And all we saw was they were already behind this iron gate.
No.
And it's like an original iron gate, like locks and everything. You can't go down there. There was no sounds of them unlocking it. And we just saw the candle just slowly fading down the staircase. I know. And I'm a skeptic, but like that was, and that was
Firefly.
Firefly?
Yeah, you know fireflies?
The TV.
You guys have fireflies in the UK?
Yeah. What, the literally
You
fireflies
don't
that you
believe in
catch in a
ghosts
jar?
No.
Really?
No, I think that's all bullshit.
The ghosts?
I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't think it's ghosts. I think there's like
That's it right
energy and multiverses and stuff like that. I think that's what any of that stuff is. But I don't believe in like spirits.
yeah, I
and
watched a
fucking-
movie one time about this guy that got some special glasses. You can see aliens. They live.
You know, it's a good fucking show to watch if you want to like prove that there's no ghosts. Those ghost hunters.
Oh yeah, I know. They never. Have you noticed they never find anything? It's like 30 seasons long, 2,000 episodes. They've never seen anything. Like something falls off the table.
They're just like, all right, we're going in this basement.
We're getting close. We're getting close.
Each other and like they're just falling over shit in the dark, wearing fucking night vision glasses and shit.
They have the dramatic music because nothing actually happens.
Nothing. It's like same thing with like Curse of Oak Island. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
It's like these guys bought this island in what is it, like Nova Scotia, yeah. And they're trying to find like the Ark of the Covenant. It's supposed to be like put there by the Freemasons like hundreds of years ago, and it's supposed to have like all this gold and like all this crazy shit. And there's like all these booby traps that were built on this island to prevent people from getting.
It's a very interesting story.
It's
though,
interesting, but like
it's
been on for like fucking 10 seasons, and they don't find the shit. They're like, we found a button, and I'm like, dude, they spent like millions and millions of dollars, and like they have like this.
It's a money pit for sure.
Yeah, they have like this archive of like all the stuff that they found, and it's like just the shittiest like fucking stuff. Like it's a button from a soldier, and it's like a fucking the end of someone's gun, and it's like fucking like cool, but like is that worth like the fucking 50 million you put into this?
And what was
fucking treasure?
The way it's built, so it's this fucking pit that goes down like I don't know how many hundreds of feet, but like every 10 feet there's like what look like power lines, like the wooden fucking like posts crossways, and then there's like filled in dirt, and then there's like booby traps if you dug it out, the back full of water, all this crazy shit.
It is very
no one knows
odd,
how did he even engineer that.
Where was this?
It's in Nova Scotia, Canada. It's on some island, yeah, like Oak Island. But that in its own right is kind of intriguing as to how the fuck that happened. But there again too, it's funny that we have all this modern technology and they can't figure out how to dig that up. So how the fuck did people dig that in the first place, right? Let alone set it up with all little, what's the fucking Goonies booby traps and shit.
Yeah.
That's just
one-eyed Willie
not
fucking
caring about human life and just being like, oh, go figure it out. And if you died down there, not my problem, man.
I think it was easier to make than it was to retrieve, and that was like the whole point. Because like every time you go down, it would like trigger something to flood an area, and then it'd be like impenetrable, and then like that would, if you try to go past that, it would like flood.
Dig all this shit up and then just go swim down in the water. Get that fucking submersible,
Get one of those.
They had some fucking poor bastard going like one of those full like submersive
Navy diver
suits.
fucking
and it's like the shadiest dark. It's like there was like a cave, like a pocket where like you could go, and like the hole is like just enough for this guy, and they're like,
dude,
fucking pushing him down,
to try to do that shit.
Go find us some gold, and this guy's like, all right, he's like some Navy SEAL guy. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, how claustrophobic would that be? Like, and you're in this fucking like everything's like falling too when he's in there, and it's like this, it's all muddy, and like you can't fucking see anything, and it's like for the little footage that they could have that were before like the water got churned up and you couldn't see anything, he's just like, oh, I can't see nothing, like like
just that cave diving
like,
stuff.
That's shit.
Have you ever watched those? Do you ever watch those videos, like the stories of how people just get stuck and wedged in a cave because they want to go deeper and deeper, and then they just eventually
You'll never hear a story about
die?
me doing that kind of shit because you'll never catch my ass doing some dumb shit.
I mean, I'm scared to go in the big caves when we're saying we're going on a tour of a cave.
We were in those cenotes and shit. I wasn't cool with that, man. I don't like being that. I don't like having a blanket over my head. When my kid does that shit, he's like, "Dude, I want to play like pillow fort."
Like, I'm not that.
I'm like, all right, Daddy can't do this.
Daddy's got issues.
Lose his shit.
There's a documentary about exactly that on Netflix. It's like, I think it's called like The Cave or Cave Diving or something, and it literally shows. It's a documentary of these guys going into this cave, and one of the guys like air hoses or something freezes, and he dies in the documentary, and they have to fucking retrieve his like body and shit, and they show everything. It's fucking horrifying. It's so fucking scary.
What would be a worse? That could be one of the worst ways to die.
Oh god, yeah.
Just anything claustrophobic.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the fucking assholes that drown in the submarine. Did you watch that shit?
Recently you mean?
Yeah, man. That guy, the guy that owns that shit, what a fucking clown. None of this shit. He was like, no safety protocols. Like James Cameron, I was watching a video where he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, like these guys were known as like fucking cutting all types of corners and like doing the shadiest shit. Like nothing was pressure tested properly.
Yeah,
they were just
using
like
the wrong materials where over time
they don't have the research on carbon fiber. That whole thing was made of like 5-foot carbon fiber like casing, which is really strong and durable, but they don't know the testing on it over time. And so everything is like tested for like planes and submarines for a certain amount of usage time. So like a plane gets, like hours, so many hours, and submarines get like some of the submarines, like Richard Branson had one that went down to the Mariana Trench, like the deepest part.
You saw that documentary?
No, but I was reading something about him and his experience, and they built that submarine for one time to go down there. Like that was it. Like he went down, did it just so he said he did it, and then it's in a museum. Like it wasn't designed to like go to multiple
dust this
things.
off, go back down again.
Yeah, and so like a lot of those, they like just like with planes, after a certain amount of hours, they have to like go through all the rivets and fucking do all that kind of shit. So it was just like totally like negligence.
Man, like motorcycle helmets. Like once you get in a crash, you can't wear that helmet again because it's no longer like rated for that.
Yeah, imagine.
Well, I mean,
there's a whole.
Even if you drop a helmet, so like same thing too. Like my kid's car seat, we got like a little fender bender in the fall, and the insurance company's like, "Yeah, you got to get a new car seat because that one's been through an accident." I'm like, even though he didn't get, it's just like the like pins that hold it might not hold it as tight and shit like that. So like the fact that you're putting that under 16,000 pounds of pressure, what does that say?
We're getting the stats up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they literally would have just imploded in less than a split second, which I guess is a blessing. But, with the James Cameron documentary, it's interesting because when he gets into the bottom of the Mariana Trench, there's nothing. He was saying, like, it looks like once you get down so far, it's just impossible for any life. Yeah. But at 20,000 feet, which is insane, that's still like 7,000 feet deeper than the Titanic. It was showing the sea life down there. And you love aliens. If you look at those creatures, not only are a lot of them just weird looking, they have like the big eyes, the big black eyes that you see all aliens have, and the big foreheads, and that kind of shape. And it is just alien fish.
USOs, buddy.
Here we go. Here's some. Yeah. Oh, some of those just freak. Imagine seeing that down. Look at that one with the nose.
I don't like
with the big
regular
nose.
ass fish.
That's why I don't fuck with the ocean. Yeah. We don't know fucking anything. We know more about the space and outer space and the moon and shit than we do the fucking ocean.
Tell you what, though, it's fascinating. Go there. Keep trying to go down. Just get the right technology.
I think we're getting the wrap it up.
Oh, we are getting the wrap up.
Yeah.
So on that note,
we can come back to ghost
stories
next time. You guys want
to get a sub together?
Yeah. Hey, do you want to do that? Do a little trip?
Eric and Tony Show Submarine.
All right, we're going under.
The submarine edition. It's gonna cut out after 30 minutes.
Just do one in like a fucking garbage can and just do the podcast from inside there.
Today we're gonna see how far down we can go.
Yeah. All right. Well, fucking hey guys, it's been like a month. We're back at it.
We're back, baby.
Every Thursday, 5:30. I don't know when that's going to air.
Probably not for you guys.
Yeah, not for you guys. For you guys. And then we'll try to get these out every week. We'll figure out a day, either maybe a Monday or something like that, maybe the beginning of the week. But
we won't be hungover next week.
Yeah, we won't be hungover. And have some exciting guests coming up in the future. So stay tuned.
We do.
And, Charlie, what do you got going on? Anything cool to let the people know?
Nope. But you can find me on Instagram, posting nudes and stuff.
Your
Charlie Clark
OnlyFans
Comedy.
page?
OnlyFans. I'll start up Eric and Tony OnlyFans.
Yeah,
no, you can find me on Instagram. I'm there sometimes. See you there, guys. Peace.
I'm Tony Klein Comedian. You can find me at Tony Klein Comedian and the social medias. And by the time this airs, I should have a show that Thursday at the Westside Comedy Theater, the 6th of July, 8 o'clock. Come see me live or just watch me on this podcast. Eric?
I have this podcast going on, and I have these cool shirts that nobody's buying, so please help me out.
Huge inventory.
It's getting really big. We are slashing prices, people.
Yeah, we're using them for polishing rags at this point.
You can go to adventuredumb.com, buy all the apparel for the Eric and Tony show. We have some beer glasses, t-shirts, and stuff like that. So if you want to support the podcast, that's a great way to do it. You can find me on all the social medias under Eric Rustler, and check out the Eric and Tony show on all the grams, the TikToks, and all that jazz. And on YouTube, you can watch the full episodes on YouTube. I posted all of them up there, so you want to watch, instead of just watching reels or clips or little shorts and all that stuff, you can watch the full episode and just have fun with it. So thanks again for watching. And
thanks, Mark at Petty Cash.
Thank you, Mark at Petty Cash.
Thank you, Mark at Petty Cash.
We'll see you the next one.
Peace.
It's a wrap.